An entitled Karen demands to be seen at a hospital before a newborn baby. I gave birth to my daughter on Tuesday, then we were released on Thursday. On Thursday, we saw our pediatrician after being released from the hospital. It comes to find out that some of our daughter's blood work comes back as a little abnormal. She was born at 37 weeks, so she's technically early to the doctors. So they're being precautious and checking her levels and don't want to get any dangerous levels. Since Thursday, we've had to go to the pediatrician and the hospital on the weekend, since doctors' offices are closed, to get her blood drawn to keep checking and see if she's okay. On Saturday, we had a doctor's order prescription to have blood drawn at the lab, but we had to be taken to and wait at the ER instead. There were 3 or 4 people sitting in the ER when we arrived. We got checked in, my fiance and I sit down, and we waited to be registered. The ER desk worker recognized us from the other day, I guess from when I was in the hospital giving birth, and asked us about our daughter. They asked how she is, how many days she is, and why she's here, etc. I'd also like to point out my daughter is extremely quiet for a newborn as well. Literally never made a peep in the waiting room. The registration woman comes out with that rolling chart not even 2 minutes later, walks over to us and begins the process of checking us in. That's when an old entitled Karen pipes up and starts shouting,
"I've been waiting here 2 hours. Check me in first."
For one, that was completely false due to how quickly the woman came out to us and how quiet the ER currently was. For two, she literally cut the woman off as she's asking us questions, which is rude regardless. Don't get me wrong, I can understand it being annoying to have someone else get attention before you when you were the first one there, but there are nicer and politer ways of going about talking about this. The registration woman gave the woman a dirty look and then gave me a sympathetic look. My daughter wasn't fussy or anything, so I had no problem waiting, and so I gave her a small nod as if to say, I understand. That's when the woman began checking in the Karen. Only Karen didn't speak to the woman. She only shoved her paperwork into the woman's hands and sat quietly again. Once the registration woman was done dealing with the entitled Karen and seeing that there wasn't anything else she needed to get from her, she went back, thanked both me and my husband, as well as the Karen, and me and my husband thanked her out of politeness. The Karen, however, glared over at the worker as well as us. After about 15 to 20 minutes, Karen told, not asked mind you, told a worker to tell the ER receptionist she's been waiting 2 hours and to call the lab technicians right away. The ER receptionist gets the message from the passing worker, gives Karen a look, and proceeds to call or page the lab again while making a slightly annoyed sound. After a moment, the receptionist turned to my fiance and I, apologizing to us, saying that the technician would be down in a moment and that on Saturdays they only have 1 blood technician. A few minutes later, the very lovely technician came down and immediately came to us, helping us gather our stuff out of kindness. The receptionist made some sort of comment about the Karen and how they are also getting lab work done, to which the tech said, okay, making that kind of sound. The feeling I got was the receptionist told the tech on the phone about the Karen causing issues and that an infant was waiting. The technician said, well, good, you can follow us. My fiance and I took an extra second to get the car seat picked up, got the diaper bags and all of our other stuff. So Karen had a moment to stand with the tech who was complimenting us on our daughter, to which Karen said nicely but smugly, yeah, what a cute baby. We took a short walk to the lab area. Karen sped past us, talking to the tech about how she doesn't even understand why she's here and that she could be doing other things on a Saturday and that she's been waiting for 2 hours going on and on, while the tech is nicely smiling and agreeing and apologizing she's the only blood technician on the weekends. We approach the room, to which the tech turns, smiles smugly, and tells the Karen, ma'am, you can have a seat right here. The rest of you can come right inside. The Karen looked stunned and said, what? The technician says, yes, ma'am, the seats are right here. We'll be done in just a few minutes. The Karen huffed and puffed and gave my 4-year-old baby a look as if it's her fault and was just in an overall sour mood after that. Again, my daughter hasn't made a sound and was perfectly fine. This entitled Karen easily could have gone before us. I mean, both of us are here for blood to be drawn, but it looks like the Karen had to wait even longer because of her terrible attitude towards the staff. As someone who used to work in the medical field, I can say that this is super common. The number of times where I've dealt with entitled Karens trying to check them in or check their insurance or try and collect a copay or even just saying hi or existing in the same room as them is too many to count. I don't know what it is, but the medical world just seems to attract the absolute worst of society. So unfortunately, I'm not totally surprised that some entitled Karen wanted to go ahead of an infant just so they could try and spend their Saturday doing whatever else they want to do. And chances are their Saturday was probably spent in some kind of supermarket yelling at a teenager who's just trying to make ends meet and bag some groceries. Overall, I can't stand Karens like this. They have no business acting like this and being so entitled, and it is a beautiful, subtle case of karma to watch her have to sit there and get her blood drawn after the other people who were so nice.
The full version of this video is on the Am I the Jerk YouTube channel, so check the link in the description for it. And if there are any updates to this story, that's where they'll be. There is also a podcast version of this show on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever you use. Just search Am I the Jerk. It's perfect for those of you guys that use Spotify or whatever platform you want to listen to podcasts while you're driving or on the bus or drawing or planning to take over the world. So go check out the Am I the Jerk and Am I the Genius podcasts on any of those platforms.